Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. Really hope you're enjoying the videos, you get a lot from it. Please comment and subscribe and share my videos with other people if you think they find them interesting. So today, what are we going to talk about? Well, I do get a lot of contact from people who email me and say, Trevor, I want to get into property, but I don't have a lot of money. Now, that's something which is an interesting situation. So a lot of people will sell courses to people who don't have money and try to put them into debt, you know, say, well, borrow this money for this training, and then you can make millions of pounds and don't worry about the 10, 20 grand you're going to borrow to do our training. I don't agree with that. That's something Leslie and I won't put people into debt in order to come on our training. So people with us, they have to have enough funds to start and get investing. And we don't really, we won't teach people on a mentorship level if they have no funds to get started. Having said that, what do you do with a little bit of funds? So if you had 5,000, 10,000, even 20,000 pounds, not really enough to buy a property, but what would you do? Well, the things which are open to people without money really is deal sourcing, bit of compliance to go with that, purchase lease options, purchase options, and rent to rent. So these are the sort of things which are available to investors who don't have a lot of funds. However, I've had quite a lot of experience in spending time with people who are looking to get into that, and unfortunately there's a lot of people who have made a mistake and it's cost them dearly. Even having money behind you, sometimes it's cost them dearly. I spent time with a guy I met about 6 odd months ago, in between one of the lockdowns in London, and he'd actually bought a portfolio of 5 rent-to-rent service accommodation properties for £40,000. He paid for that. He tried to run it for nearly a year. He lost £30,000 additional money, and then he gave it back. So there was a £70,000 mistake. I've also seen people who do a limited amount of training, and with that they said, right, I'm going to go and do a rent to rent. And there was this young lady, and funny enough, she worked at a high street bank, and when I was sitting down, she had said, can I talk to you about this? I said, yep, absolutely. And she wanted to take on a rent to rent property for, it was about £1,200 a month. And then think now, you got the utilities, the council tax, all the other things, the internet, the cleaning, the commission to come off and everything. And she wanted to rent it out. It's a nice place, rent it out and make her profit. Now, there is a bit of a golden rule that we do. Unless you rent out the rent and all your costs are equal to 15 or 16 days of the month, and the rest of that is profit, then we don't touch it. So we want a 50% return on, what do we call it? Base level. So that's where all our costs are covered, and then after that we know we can make money, because we feel that we can always get 50% occupancy. That's quite easy. At the minute, ours are 100% occupied for the next 2.5 months or something, 3 months. It's really good, and some of them are booked up long into the future. But this young lady, she hadn't got any experience. She said, okay, this is what I want to do. So when we worked it out, it was going to cost her probably £1,600 a month in running costs. So I said to her, okay, so let's say £1,600 a month, and you've got to put a deposit down of a month, and you need a bit of furniture and everything like this. And she said, yep, I'm going to do that. I said, okay, so out of that cost, how much extra money have you got to, cash flow yourself through it? And she had £2,000. I said, run away from it now. Why? Because you've got to have at least 3 months of running costs behind you to make it work. If in the first month or 2 months you haven't built up that reputation, because starting any business, it's a cost injection exercise, not look at the numbers, and I'm really sorry to say, but there's a lot of people out there talking and training and say, hey, come and do my training, make thousands of pounds every month. And a lot of it is a load of crap. They're not giving you the truth. Now, don't get me wrong, there are people who open up something and yes, they can make money. Now, one of two things: either they've got an incredible deal, fantastic location, or they've already got the experience already. So what is the pathway? Look, there's no shortcut of education. Now, there's a lot of stuff on YouTube. Yes, do that. Leslie Tao is a brilliant teacher and a brilliant business lady in what she does with service accommodation. Incredible, really, really incredible. And we've learned from her as well, and she's really given us great tips. And that's something that you need to understand, that an investment in you is paramount. So read everything. Look not at the shiny pennies, but try to find the truth behind it. What are the pitfalls? And so many people chase a shiny penny and don't want to learn about the pitfalls. What are the pitfalls? The pitfalls are, let's take one thing. So, you know, we're just about to take another 2 properties on in Cambridge. Okay, we've got a meeting in about half an hour to just discuss those, but we're thinking we're taking them on. So we take on houses, not flats now. Why? Well, with flats, and if you've never done service accommodation, you're new and you think, oh, I can get this flat. With flats, they all have a lease, 99 years, 999 years, whatever. But on that lease, there's terms and conditions. Although someone owns it and you say, can I rent it for the next 3 years, and I'll rent it and I'm going to do this, and you have the contract, great. And they sign and you get it. 2 things. One, have they really got the permission from the mortgage company for you to rent it out as a holiday let, which is a business, it's not a buy-to-let product? Have they got that? Is the insurance covering your activities as well? That's sort of one together. And the second one, on those head leases, quite often it says, under no circumstance are business or commercial activities permitted on these premises. So now you have a 3-year contract, you might have decorated, you might have filled it up with all your furniture and everything. And then as you're doing it, some of the neighbours complain, what's going on? The management get to hear about it. They say, hey, you can't do it, and it gets closed down. There's nothing you can do about it. Now you're faced with taking the landlord to court and sue them for signing a contract which you couldn't fulfill. That's a bad place to be. And why? You got there because of ignorance and not doing it the right way. So look, I will do another video next week on how to invest a small amount of money. But this is, if you like, I think much of what I do is about how to avoid costly mistakes and giving people the truth. I hope, look, put your comment down. What have you thought of this video? Has it been helpful? Is it useful? Do you think other people should be seeing this? If they should be, please send it to them so they can watch and not make silly mistakes that so many people have made, costly mistakes and painful. Please subscribe, make comments. I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great weekend. God bless you. Bye-bye.